This is the second in a series of the ConWin videos that I'm doing, and in this one we're looking at adding a button and an event handler for the button using a console program that creates a window. And once again we add the properties in the constructor, and once again the best place to find what these properties are is in the IDE. If we look at the IDE, the first property we want to look at is location. And if you go up to the IDE and the property pane, you can scroll down and see here's location, and it has two values, X and a Y value, as it turns out. Those are the two fields, X and Y. And it has a size, which also has two properties, in this case being width and height. These are both the location and the size class, so they're classes that you have to create with a new and then assign it to the property in terms of using a console program. And then there's the text property, which in a way is the only one that's normal. It's just a regular string. And then the font property, which actually has four fields that we're actively using, and you can see these if you expand the ellipse, and you can see the font family, the font size, and in the case, or the font style. And the font size in the case of this dialog always implies to be point, but you have to explicitly set it to point via the point enumeration in the console program. So if we look at the actual code to do this, once again we're expanding on the same program we started last video, and this sets the client size and text to the form, which of course don't have to be qualified since they're the form we're referencing in the forms constructor. And then we create a button using the new button standard instantiation of a class, and we set the properties of the button into location, which is the point structure, which has the X and Y, size, which is the size structure, which has the width and the height, the text, which is just a string, and then the font, which is instantiated as new font, has the font family, the font size, the font style, which is the font style enum, a static enum, and then the graphics unit, which is the type of unit you're using, which defaults to font in the dialog we were looking at, but we have to set it explicitly in the console. And then we also need to add an event handler to the click event, and as usual we add an event by using the plus equal, because it's essentially a delegate, and we specify the event handler name without the parentheses, which an event handler is essentially a function, but we just specify the name because we're just registering it with the click event. And if we look at the click event handler we created, we need the usual parameters of object sender and event args E, which allows you to potentially pass information using the E variable. But in this case we're just popping up a message box that says thank you for pushing the button. And then in order to add the control, there's a collection of controls, and we reference this collection as in the controls name .add, and specify the button we created and added these properties to. So if we go into the DOS box, we have the same program name because we're just building on the same program. So we can highlight this and press enter to put it in the clipboard, and then say CSC for the C# compiler, and right click to copy it out of the clipboard and compile it. And then we can run it by right clicking and getting rid of the .cs, so we're referencing the exe file. And as you can see, the window once again pops up, but this time with the push me button that we created completely in code. And if you press the push me button, the message box pops up with the message we specified. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned a lot, and don't forget to subscribe.